Just cold turkey.
During this time, were y'all at least communicating about your kids?
I was trying to communicate to him about my kids. I was trying to get him to assist with like daycare and stuff like that, but it wasn't. He wasn't. We wasn't like talking like that. He was no.
And that you even want to let him know where you live. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, so did y'all start talking again and trying to hear the voice?
Yes, we started talking probably. I moved again after that to the place that I was at, and we started talking again. But I mean, like pretty much our co-parenting relationship wasn't like it wasn't a healthy co-parenting relationship. So
Explain what that, if there was a co-parenting relationship, and what it was.
it was more so of me trying to get him to help financially with my kids. We will always have falling outs about that. Him getting them, seeing them more, being more active. That was the type of co-parenting relationship. I was always upset about him not doing something or stuff like that. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was a co-parenting relationship where I can call him and, it wasn't a good co-parenting relationship.
Would he provide some financial support or none at all?
He was sometimes when he wanted to.
What about the boys? Did he ever make time to go see them?
Yeah, he saw them sometimes when it was convenient for him.
Was that on a consistent
What's up? What's up?
No.
How often, maybe a month, would you see the boys?
I can't say. Not a lot. I had them majority of the time.
What was your relationship with Devin like in 2020?
Same stuff. Arguments about getting the kids. Arguments about helping financially. It was the same stuff.
Were y'all on speaking terms or not really?
Hey, can
We
y'all
was on
hear?
speaking terms
Let me know if y'all can hear.
sometimes. If he didn't make me mad about something, or if I feel like he didn't do something. But as far as like talking, no, we didn't really communicate with each other like that.
Trey, your old son, what's his birthday? November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember if you had a birthday party for Trey November 1st of 2020?
No, I don't think so.
Or maybe a joint birthday party for the boys?
We never did joint.
Do you remember if you did anything with Trey for his birthday back in November 1st of 2020?
I think he bought him a
Listening to
hoverboard,
this
but
Kewon
as
White
far as
trial
like
about
no,
Mo 3.
I don't remember. I don't. It's so long ago. I
I
don't.
don't know why my phone be lagging.
At some point in 2020, did you start seeing other people?
Yes.
Who were you talking with November 2020?
Mo 3.
And Mo 3, you know him as Melvin Noble?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you call him?
Momo.
How did you and Momo meet?
We met on social media on Facebook.
Do you remember roughly when that was?
Like 2017.
So y'all known each other for years.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So Facebook, that's prior to trying to date now. How did y'all introduce each other on Facebook?
I think we was in a Facebook group called Piece of the Streets, and I don't even remember how. I think he inboxed my mom. He inboxed my mom first, then we exchanged numbers, and that's how we began to talk.
What was it like in 2017? I mean, were y'all meeting up with each other then? Or how
No, we wasn't meeting up. We were just on the phone talking sporadically. I call him, he'll call me, we'll talk, chat. That was it.
What were your conversations like?
Just talk about stuff on social media.
And did that relationship grow over the years?
No, well, when you say grow, what do you mean by that?
Well, how did you get from maybe talking on the phone every now and then to something more serious?
We didn't start talking serious until 2020.
Do you remember when? Like that month?
July? I don't remember.
What made you decide to finally start talking to him seriously?
We had each other on Snap. I was selling plates and he wanted a plate. So he came and bought a plate. He came to my mama's house, he bought a plate. We talked for like a long time and then it went from there.
Do you remember the kind of things that y'all used to talk about?
Everything, his whole life story, music,
How was he when he was with you?
and very goofy, very talkative, he just talk a lot. He just always had a story to tell.
I'm not in no gang with you,
He
buddy.
was funny.
Did he make you laugh?
Y'all
Yeah.
be talking about this
You
gang
said you were,
stuff.
selling plates and things.
Chill, bro.
You were talking about food?
Yeah.
What kind of food would you make?
That day,
Or in general, you selling plates?
I was trying to test it out. So I had started selling plates to try to see if I can make money selling plates. That particular time I made like some chicken, mac and cheese, yams.
You worried about
It was
another
just like
man
little
is a
test run.
problem.
It wasn't something that I was doing.
You worried
for a
about
long
how
time.
another
I was
man
like, I'm
look
gonna
is
see
a
if I can sell
problem.
plates.
That's a huge
And so,
problem.
yeah.
And then when he came over.
You need to be worried about a bitch. You worried about a whole nother man. Something wrong with you, little fella. Believe them comments up there
Going
getting
out
paid
and
for.
stuff and hanging out.
I'm
He
getting
come to the
paid
house,
from this,
to my
so
house,
leave
and
your
make me
comments,
for
cause my
family.
YouTube is monetized.
And they'll be, yeah, he was real good at Connect Four. So during that time, it was like a Connect Four war between him and my family. So he'll come over there, play Connect Four, take their money. It was just a big thing. So, and then I think that's really how we ended up talking, because I seen how he interacted with my family, and I don't really bring people around him like that. So I was like, okay, they like him, so cool.
And when you say Connect Four, I mean, you're talking about the old school, with
Mhm.
the little circles, one team is red, one team is yellow?
Yeah,
And he was really good at that Connect Four?
yeah, he was good at it.
Did you ever play it?
I wasn't good enough. I wasn't interested in playing Connect Four. I was good at it.
And you said you come over and talk to your family. Do you have any family?
I do.
Okay, how many, brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one brother and I have 3 sisters.
And in fact, you all have the same first initial, is that right?
Correct.
Now, how did that start? Like, how are all
James, Jackson. So we all got J's in our name.
What they got to do with the case?
I want to talk about, when you work here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about November 10th. Okay, this is the day before Melvin was murdered. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
Did you have plans to see each other then?
Yes, we had plans the day before. He was telling me that he was flying down to come see me. He was in California. He said he was going to come to my house when he left from California.
Do you remember what he was doing in California?
Music stuff, from my knowledge, music stuff.
November 10th. Do you happen to remember if that was a Tuesday?
It was.
About the time did he come to your house on November 10th?
And he came early. I think it was about 11 o'clock probably. It was during the day.
The Mediterranean diet is the world's healthiest diet, and Factor makes it easy to eat that way every day. A true Mediterranean meal.
Do you remember what y'all were doing day of November 10th?
We was talking. We was just, I really don't even remember. We was talking. I know that night, but talking, just chilling, nothing.
He ended up staying the night with you?
Yes.
Do you remember roughly about what time he left on November 11th?
I'm gonna say it was around noon when he left. 11ish or noonish when he left.
Were the boys, your boys with you?
Yes, they was.
And we're just COVID time, so were they in school or they were being, schooled through the computer?
They was doing school virtually.
How did your boys help?
They liked him. They was starstruck. They liked him.
Now, at some point, your oldest son, Trey, did he ask you if you could go see his dad?
Yes, he did. Well, he asked if his dad can pick him up.
And did you allow that to happen?
No.
Why not?
Because I hadn't talked to his dad in a few months, and I was just to the point where I was like, you either be help with him or you not. So I was like, no, I haven't talked to him, so he can't see y'all. He can't pick y'all up.
So have you been in the boys' lives or seen them recently?
No.
This was kind of out of the blue?
Yes.
Did you have, at that time, did you have visits with Devin?
No.
Were you and Devin directly communicating at that time?
No.
How, if y'all were communicating, how would y'all communicate?
Through my son.
So, your son Trey, he had a cell phone?
Yes.
And so if you needed to get in touch with Devin, would you use Trey's cell phone?
So how we know
Yes.
he ain't called the son phone? Somebody said that, I believe too. They say, how we know he ain't called the son phone and asked the son if he was over there.
How old was Trey in November 11th of 2020? How old was he back then?
He was 8 years old.
And you said that Melvin left your apartment around you?
Yes.
What do you recall happening next after you left?
My sister called me probably like 30 minutes later, and she was like,
At some point, you find out what happened to Melvin.
yes.
What was going through your mind when you found him out?
I wonder what
I
they
just
be
knew it
what
was
they be
just
meaning when
something
they be
fishy.
stopping him.
Like, I knew that it was something fishy. I was sad, I was angry.
Did he seem like he was in fear of his life while he was with you, November 10th to November 11th?
No, he never seemed like he was in fear of his life when he was with me.
And you said it seemed like it was something fishy. Why was that? Objective speculation. It's like your own personal house.
Think you know?
Hmm.
Think you know, he asked us that question, when Link said yes, that
What?
what was that?
Why did you think that there was something fishy surrounding his death?
And my instruction to you is if you know, and you can ask.
Because he was leaving my house, and I just felt like somebody had to do it.
Did a lot of people know where you lived?
No,
Why's that?
I didn't let people know where I lived at.
At some point, did you or a family member contact police on November 11th?
I believe my mom contacted the police.
Did you speak to police that night?
Yes, ma'am.
What were your concerns?
I felt like my address was given out to someone. I felt like somebody had followed him from my house, or I felt like anybody would think that was my concerns.
Were you aware of the public beef with Mo3 and other artists?
I was.
You wanna- Well, actually, I'm gonna, okay, you said you met with police officers on the night of November 11th, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said it was because you were concerned that someone knew where you lived?
I was concerned. I feel like that. Can I say?
And I think it's your own personal knowledge.
I feel like my address was given out
Why did you feel that way?
because don't nobody know where I stay at. I don't bring people to my house, and the only person that knows where I stay at is my kids' head. So I feel like my address was given out.
When you say your kids died, you're talking about Devin Brown?
Yes,
So you felt that Devin Brown had something to do with knowing that Melvin was at your house?
correct.
And why would you think that?
Because I asked my son, did his dad ask him about it?
Oh,
And hearsay.
It's her own, it's like past her son.
right.
She, but
I asked my son, had he talked to his father, and if he asked if he was there, because he had been asking, can he take them out? So my intuition clicked, and that's the first thing that came to my mind.
but did you actually see Trey's phone?
At the time, no, I don't remember, no.
You said that in Trey's phone, that's how you were communicating with Devin. Is that right?
I didn't communicate with him. I don't believe through his phone. When we wasn't on talking terms, I don't think I was reaching out to him during that time.
Did you later go to the Dallas Police Department and get interviewed by Detective Chris Anderson?
Yes,
And did you remember bringing your phones, both your phone and your son's phone, to that interview?
I do.
And what was the point of doing that?
To show that I didn't have anything to do with it, and to show for the police to do whatever investigation they needed to do to rule me out.
Josh, I'm showing you what's been marked as States Exhibit 732 and 735. These were the consent to search that you had signed with Detective Anderson, is that correct?
Correct.
And the date on here, the date is November 17th of 2020, is that correct? 12:15.
Yes,
And do you recognize your signature on both pages?
I do.
And then one was for an iPhone 8. Do you recall if that's Trey's phone or your phone?
That was my son's phone.
And the iPhone 11, that was your phone?
Yes.
During at this time, state offers states exhibit 732 and 735 that have been previously submitted to the kids.
Yeah, that's from the 732 for that iPhone 8.
iPhone 8 is for 732.
Thank you.
No difference in 732 and 735.
Thank you. States Exhibit 732 and 735 are amended for purposes. Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're not about to finish with this witness anytime soon with the state, so we're going to continue tomorrow at 8:30. Please y'all be here at 8:30, and we'll start as soon as possible, as you arrive, okay? Just to my instructions, just do not go on social media. Everybody needs to sit down. I'm still addressing the jury. We're not to do any sort of social media research, just like I said before. Don't talk to each other. And we'll see you back here at 8:30 in the morning. Thank you.
All rise.
Alright, well, they had a long day in trial. Sheesh. Forgot no music, my bad. No music. Oh.
Hey, I'm Daniel, founder of Ridge, and every year we do something kind of crazy. This year, we're giving away a Lamborghini Storado, a Hennessy Velociraptor, a Ford Bronco, or $100,000.
I wanted to see y'all because I had to ask you a question. What you gotta ask me? Why you want to send me my stuff? You said you were gonna send me. She want to talk to you though. You say it like that. Because I said what I said. What I did to you?
I seen that. Why he re-uploading the old shit?
The whole TSF is all that dripping and spilling and splash. That's con. That's basically him saying I get over on people. He don't like Little Baby. He don't like NBA YoungBoy. You are not a pimp because you eating this bitch. All the industry niggas don't like you. He was at the warehouse. He was trying to get AP to turn against me.
Shout out to all the networks in the Rumination. We are back, and they saying that hell has no fury, like a woman scorned on the cob because the breeze fell off the bone. Tenderism at its finest is what the folks are saying on the internet about Mr. Ooh-wee. Keep it P himself, Sauce Walker. They saying my boy Sauce ain't no pimp. He been begging on the floor for the broad to open the door. They saying it's a whole lot of boyfriending going on, and that ain't P. The P must pretending, not pimping.
Did the baby not have school today? Did the baby not have school today? Mike D is right here telling y'all the real.
Oh, NSF member, affiliate, whatever you want to call it, Mike Deasy was in the chat.
Y'all can sit here and act like y'all don't see this. This is his homeboy telling y'all the whole TSF is up. The whole TSF is up.
Oh,
and you want to know
Mike D did what?
TSF is
Oh, TSF member, affiliate, whatever you want to call it, Mike Deasy.
Not quit you on game while you're here, Mike, but I am. Hold on. I hope y'all ain't switching up what he said.
Y'all can sit here and act like y'all don't see this. This is his homeboy telling y'all the whole TSF is up. The whole TSF is up. And you want to know what? All that dripping and spilling and splash, that's con. That's basically him saying, I get over people.
Hold on.
I finesse people. I'm dripping. All of that bullshit. Let's talk about it. Furthermore,
Cuz, what's up with it? What you got going on live?
Bang up everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop some
Deep
more
in the
music.
ocean about to drown. Like, come on. Come on. I'm a grown ass woman. I'm 25 years old.
Big 300 in the building.
Continue. I just got my hair, my neck, my lashes, everything done. I don't get a different shit. That need to stop playing with me talking about he got my baby girl done. You didn't get shit done. I was in Thailand living my best life, not working for you right before I got my BBL. So how did you give me the money for my BBL? Your sister broke, you broke, your baby mama's in debt, your other baby mama. I ain't even gonna speak on her because she ain't said it about me. So I ain't even gonna speak on her. Just be cool, my nigga. Like, this is trying to be Blueface with his dirty baby mama. And let's talk about it. He didn't even take a break. I ain't tripping.
Yeah, I was on that Kewon white trash shit. The court just closed it for tomorrow, whatever the fuck. Right now I'm watching this Sauce Walker ex-assistant. She going off. And I'm trying to see what the hell going on. Y'all know I'm a videographer. I gotta keep up with the rappers and shit.
But listen, I'm saying though, you are not a pimp because you eating this with all the industry don't like you. And let's talk about it. Little baby, he don't like NBA YoungBoy. He talks about all of them way before this Drake came out. He been hating on Drake. Let's talk. He hate Lil Baby. He be on Lil Baby page like, oh, he got the black Maybach. He got the black Maybach 2-door, and he's the only one with it. And I got the red one, so now I gotta get mine right. You fanned out as I love YB, but that's what I'm saying. Being around this, you can't listen to nobody. Might be in my line, being around, you cannot listen to nobody because he hates everybody because they richer than him and they doing better than him in life. You can't listen. Imagine driving to California, a 24-hour drive, no Drake. No Drake? Damn. You can't listen to Drake. You can't listen to YoungBoy. You can't listen to Drake. You can't listen to Future. We ain't listen to Drake, listen to my bullshit.
Nah.
If you didn't go to the ER after a car accident, you could still be owed a huge check. No, seriously. I didn't go to the ER.
I'ma shut up.
We can't listen to nothing. Cause it's a hater. He hate on everybody. He be acting like he cool with OG3. He's not cool with OG3. He just be doing that shit so he can get around YoungBoy to use YoungBoy cop. But she'll never be around YoungBoy. You will never even be in the same room as YoungBoy. Let's talk about it. Bro, he like told us his white they be 304 white. I don't have nothing against white people. Except racism, obviously. And this that shit was gonna skin the both of us. I didn't say he don't believe. I think he be trying to suck Dean and AP. And let's talk about it. He was at the warehouse. He was trying to get AP to turn against Dean. He talked about, oh yeah, I can get AP to leave with Dean because he not looking for what Dean got going on. He outside having a little private conversation with Dean in the trailer. Then the little white code that pulled up, y'all probably gonna see her soon. Don't be surprised when y'all see her. Don't be surprised when y'all see that hoe that was on AP and Dean shit. He outside in the trailer talking to the little hoe that was arguing with Ray J and AP on a secret mission type. She talking about she want to pay him to be down. He out there just being like, he on some like, bitch, ain't nobody a hater. That need to stop talking about me, and I wouldn't have to say about him. But bitch, since you want to talk, that's why you can't get hard. You missing these motherfuckers ones and twos, and I don't know if y'all clicked that. I hope y'all clicked that. All these pills that he need to stay hard, dirty, that's lame, whack. Stop playing for real. And it can only get them in California. That's why he bought the whole store. And boy, was he have this, bro, it's so funny because he was just like, the way that it even came up, because I'm like, oh, what do we need to do to like help you stay? What do we need to do to help you stay hard? And then he like, we didn't count, because it's something else he be doing this thing, but that's somewhere else in a different state. He like, you just reminded me, we are in California. He running through the house yelling. I ain't even gonna say the homeboy. The homeboy like, I know where they at. He like, hell yeah, I need them, hoes. Oh my gosh, yes, I'm hyped. Let's go get them hoes right now. He like, let's go get them hoes right now. So all of them go in the store. He not even trying to let his homeboys get into the pills. That's how thirsty he is for the pills. He not even trying to let his homeboys get into the pills for their little vibe. He let Gucci get one pack, and he let somebody else get another pack. And honestly, that's the problem. None of them niggas around him be telling about stuff. That's why when I get to checking, shit's a problem. I don't give a stop playing with me. Yes, he wanted AB to do it with him instead of Dean. Yes. Y'all know, he's having secret little side conversations because AB downstairs getting drunk and he down there like, oh, AB might be drunk, but you know what he's talking about. Like, that could be his brother and that still be the truth. All of this is still bad. And let's talk about it. He gonna try to tell y'all that when we was in Dallas, let's talk about it. When we was in Dallas, we was at the gym. We was with rappers, artists, cool. An artist came and sat right beside me. My bro Mike D, mind you, let's talk about it. When I quit working for Walk the first time, Mike D was the only person that I was still cool with after the fact. Only person I kept in contact with, only person I was still cool with, my dog. Like you said, he stand for the right. You're not around niggas sucking no niggas to feel like you gotta be a part of the game and telling niggas like all the other goofy ass, broke ass, lame ass niggas. I don't know one sauce nigga that's really having no money. Who's having the money? Where is the money? Where is the anyway? Mike D's the only one I was cool with. So me and Mike D always been cool. That's my dog. Cool. We at the gym. The nigga sit beside me. I'm like, I already know how this nigga is. I'm scoot over towards my brother. I'm talking to him. We vibing, we laughing, whatever. Cool. So after the gym, this nigga acting up weird and frantic and all type of weird ass. So I'm like, oh, let's go get some food. Mike D like, I'm about to go to this spot. He like, oh, I want to go wherever you going. I want to go wherever you going. So he like, okay, come on, we gonna go. So the place Mike D want to go is close, so we go to my spot. We pull up in the parking lot. He like, oh, this perfect. He tells Mike, cut the camera off. He gonna say to Mike D, what you trying to put my bitch on? Huh? You trying to put my bitch going on? Like, let me know, is this your or is this my bitch? Huh? Then the nigga pulls up a picture on his phone that he took of me and Mike D sitting beside each other. He took a picture of us sitting beside each other and then showed like, look at y'all. Nigga, it's a whole nigga, stranger ass nigga. I do not know. It's a whole stranger ass nigga that I do not know sitting right beside me.
White, biracial, black.
In the furniture business, things move fast. ZipRecruiter helps us hire qualified candidates who can keep up. We need
Race shapes experience, but it doesn't define the whole story. On this episode of The Bridge, white, black, and biracial women come together to talk about identity, culture, and how race has influenced their lives in seen and unseen ways. Welcome to The Bridge.
Hi, my name is Anne. I am a white female. I don't identify as a woman. I identify as non-binary, but yeah.
Hi, I'm Kyla. I am white.
Hi, I am Lauren, and I'd like to say I'm tan, but I guess I'm pretty white right now.
Hi, I'm Ashira, and I identify as biracial.
Hi, I'm Deanna, and I identify as black, and I am biracial.
Hi, my name is Kiara, or Kitty. I also can't even talk, I'm so nervous. I also identify as biracial, but black and white.
Hi, my name is Lakeisha, and I identify as black or African American.
Hi, my name is Anita, and I identify as black.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm a blackie.
I have had to code switch depending on who I am around.
Obviously not code switch.
What does that mean?
Right. You haven't had to. If you don't know what it means, you haven't had to. Code switching. So code switching is basically when you are in certain environments, you have to shift the way you speak in order to be safe, really, in those environments. I particularly find it for myself, for my mother, for other black women that I know. When it's predominantly white environments, there's certain things that you all wouldn't necessarily be able to understand based on what I'm speaking about. And also, in order to get to certain levels, right? Like if we think of PWIs, private white institutions, which I went to at Duke University, I would have to code switch depending on where I was at in order to be taken seriously, in order to be respected, in order to be...
All right, so because y'all can't see this, it's 3 white people, 3 biracial people, 3 black people. Well, they are women, it's a panel full of women, you know what I'm saying? So 9 women, 3 white, 3 mixed, 3 black.
Yeah, received.
I feel like Sam.
And I'm sure y'all heard the topic before me. The base is I have had to code switch depending on who I am around.
I've had to code switch even with those close to me, like my family. Like when I'm with like my white side, I feel like I can't act a certain way, or I'd be like considered too ghetto. Or when I'm with my black side, I can't act a little too way because I'm a little whitewashed. It's like I code switched around public, the close ones, my teachers, really everybody.
For sure. Like when I first became a realtor, I realized that like I really wanted to be taken seriously as a businesswoman, and yeah, I definitely felt like I needed it. Not just like code switching the way that I speak and behave, but seriously, like I used to wear my afro all the time, and so it was like time to straighten my hair like every day to make sure they know that I'm
Code
very
switching is
professional,
real.
you know. So
Yeah, my husband's biracial, actually. So I learned about code switching by kind of watching him with his family versus coming over and spending time with my.
I fuck with it.
Structurally white family, very white Protestant. It was very much like a learning of being like, oh, this is something I've like, I feel like when a lot of white people try to be like, yeah, I code switch, it's like, we have to say like less edgy jokes around certain white people, but like just watching my husband like interface between like my family and his family, I was like, oh dang, like that is like a whole other thing that just like, I don't think most white people who grew up in like white exclusive spaces can understand.
I think there's something to be said about that, because I actually put yes for this, and I don't think, depending on how you define code switching, technically yes. In other cases, obviously not in the same way that you ladies have experienced and had to, but if you define it loosely and it's just like changing your demeanor or your, what's the word for it? Vernacular? No, not necessarily. Like your just the way that you carry yourself, basically. In academic settings, definitely a little bit different from the way that, you know, I carry myself around my very Southern family, who is very like loose with the way that they speak, and they're not super precise about things, and that's just like the culture that is there. But if you're talking about like specifically in racial scenarios to protect yourself, that's something that I've never had to do, and I don't think like white people generally will ever have to do.
I was actually gonna say that like it's become kind of the opposite for me because I grew up like around a lot of white people. It was like I was literally like the only black kid in my class, a black girl, and it was like a black boy. And so probably around middle school, that's when like a lot of like the black families moved to the suburbs of where I lived. And they kind of like would talk about the way I would talk, and they were like, why are you talking like a white girl? Why are you talking like a white girl? And I would look at them like, what? Like, what are y'all talking about? And I would go home and I would cry, and my mom would be like, you're just educated. Like, you just talk like, you know, like you can read. You know what I'm saying? And I would be like, but they can read too. Like, you know, what even is that? You know? And so it's kind of funny how like, if I am around like white people or people that aren't black, I kind of tend to talk more like urban, you know what I mean? I kind of want to be more black when I'm around white people, you know what I mean? And like, I feel more comfortable that way. But then when I get around black people, I kind of turn into my little self again because I know that they can see through me. You know what I mean? They'll be like, girl, just learn how to talk like that. Like, nah, you know what I mean? So like, it's kind of the opposite for me. It's a little weird.
I always think it's really interesting that like speaking proper or like white people is equated with like being educated and being smart. I always hated that. I couldn't stand it. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like, and that's no shade to your mom, but I think that's the way that we are all like brought up to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, but I can't stand that idea because I have family in Mississippi who speak a certain way. I come from Chicago originally, and when I was in Chicago, I spoke very differently than I did when I moved to Wisconsin. Because I was in Chicago, I was only around black people. I moved to Wisconsin, I was surrounded by white people. I was like, what is this? You know, and it's like, oh, I gotta learn how to talk like them. You know, and in my mind, I really thought I had to speak this way so that I can look and sound educated, you know what I mean? And when I go back around my family in Chicago, it's like, gosh, you talk so white, you know? It's like, oh, she must be so smart now. Like, no, like I'm smart. I was smart when I was in Chicago. I was smart in Wisconsin. I'm smart when I go to Mississippi. You know, my dad from Mississippi is smart. You know, he graduated too. I just think it's like really whack that we like equate the way somebody speaks with education or lack of education.
I agree. And I've experienced what both you all are speaking about too around my black folk, right? They're like, oh, she's the white girl. Look at her. She thinks she's so smart or what have you. And it's very frustrating because it just shows the roots of all of it are still rooted in this, you know, white supremacy. I hate that damn term, but white supremacy around like, for us to be like, oh, I have to talk black. It's like, what does that even mean? And all of us that come from black families, there's different dialects with it, even in our vernacular. And it actually takes a lot of brilliance to be able to code switch and have different dialects, right? Depending on where you're at. So I think we experience it not only in predominantly white environments, but also around our own folk. And then we dig deeper and it's like, oh, this is still around the roots of white supremacy of what is acceptable or not, what is considered worthy or not. And yeah, it's very problematic and frustrating.
Yeah, my mom is Southern, and it's so funny that like the way she is, that like, you were like no shade, but I was like, yeah, no total shade, because I will always be like, Mom, that sounds kind of crazy too. Like, yeah, I know you're trying to make me feel better, but like that sounds crazy too. And then I started to like watch like more reality shows and watch like the I don't know, 1,000 Pound Sisters for example. And I'm like, wait a second, they kind of talking black, huh? I'm like, so that's not a thing. They're just Southern. I was like, so basically the slaves was just listening to them talk, you know what I mean? And their English was broken because they was from England. So it's all like, it all goes back to something, and we're just perpetuating something and putting on like this tradition of, oh, that's what that means, when it really just means like everybody's English was broken because we're not even, you know what I mean? Like the way we're talking is like we were supposed to be talking English and English accents, you know what I mean? And it started to get crazy once they moved, and you know, all that stuff happened. So it's just really weird how we like try to say like, oh, it's talking white when it's not even that. Like it's literally white people that talk like black people too in the South. So it's just really weird to me how we do that.
Piggybacking off of what, excuse me, what you were saying and you were saying earlier, for me, so growing up as a biracial black woman, I did grow up going to white private schools. College, I went to Chapman University. I could count the black people on my hand, like honestly. But with that, the number one compliment I've always gotten is how articulate I am. And people are shocked at how articulate I am. Mind you, I was a communications major, strategic corporate communications, mind you. So yes, maybe I'm a little more quote unquote articulate than most because that was my degree. I got this my whole life, growing up, middle school, high school, before I even got my degree, before I even started my degree. And it sucks that being black is not synonymous with being educated in a lot of people's eyes. Or they'll see that I'm biracial and they're like, oh, did you grow up on the white side of your family? That's why you talk like that. I grew up on both sides, actually. So it's just interesting to see, even the black side of my family will say that as well. But like you said, like you talk like a white girl. I'm articulate regardless of the shade. And like you said, there's white people who talk ghetto. Like seriously, it's not about talking white or black. It's where you're from, who you grew up with.
I think piggybacking off of that, I think it's really important for like white people to educate themselves on this thing because it is something that is important. And there's a quote, I took sociology classes in high school because that was my minor. And we learned about this particular sociologist who came up with the term the iconic ghetto. Because like no matter, and this seems like what you're speaking on is like, no matter how educated you are, no matter how much money you make, no matter where you're from, no matter, you know, what your background is, if you live in a wealthy family or whatever, you still have that stigma of like, oh, like she's one of the good ones. You're not like the ghetto ones. You speak proper, like you, that, like that's, I get where you're coming from. I see that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask, actually, in this medium, do you guys feel like you need to code switch in which direction? Like in a space where you know that there's cameras, there's going to be an audience, like what are you guys experiencing, I guess, like right now?
You guys will probably hear me go in and out of different ways of expressing, you know? 1 minute I'll be, you know, I was going to talk about, well, y'all tap in. For me, it's, no, I feel comfortable in my own skin. But I go in and out because that's always been...
I was gonna say, being biracial specifically, yes, I've code switched in both scenarios on the white side of my family, black side of my family. Even talking right now, I can hear when I sound more academic, if you will, more like an essay, more structured. And then I get more into slang, I get more comfortable. I'm like, y'all, why she said this? But I can also go right back to, on this day, at this time. So I'm both, but I just think being specifically biracial is hard because people want to see you as one or the other. You can't just be a mix, and that's how I see it.
I can confidently say that I've code switched every single day of my life, in every single scenario ever, like whichever benefits me, honestly. Because it's hard. Like even when you're in like a space where you feel like you're not welcome, sometimes the code switch doesn't even work because you're still Black in America, you know.
What are the things that are going to pressure you, like in either direction? Like when you're deciding in any type of conversation, like essentially like which form of language you're going to be speaking, what are the pressures behind you that make you go, I need to be talking a lot more Black right now and I need to be talking a lot more white right now? Like how are you deciding?
I'm going to talk super proper if the other person is talking in an accent that they don't talk in. You know, if they're like, hey, Nika, like today I was at work and they were like, hey, Nika, what's up? And they were like saying, like, yeah, you know, they were just being so, you know, and I was just sitting there like, yeah, that'll be 64.29. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be doing that with you. Like, it's kind of cringy to me, you know, because you can tell when somebody doesn't talk like that.
Right,
You know what I
when it's
mean? And
authentic or not.
it's just so inauthentic and it's awkward. And so I immediately am like, super proper, I'm not even gonna entertain that, you know?
I was gonna ask, because you said that, and I was wondering if you guys ever have experienced like white people adapting their language to talk to you in a specific way where you can tell, because I've seen like skits of this like online where it's like a white person trying to like fit in with, you know, like the black people around them. But that's interesting that you say that, because I didn't know like if that does work the same way where you have people who like they feel like they have to kind of, I'm assuming it's insulting to have them like bring themselves down, even though, you know, you can be as well spoken as you want to be.
But I feel like I can tell the difference because I have white friends who legit grew up in the hood and they know to speak the way that maybe I'm speaking because they grew up like down the street, you know? And so in those cases, I don't like to try to shade them because I feel like that's their experience. It's when I walk into a place like that and somebody is like really trying really hard. And I think there is, honestly, in my heart, there is some merit behind the effort. I think in their heart and in their mind, they really think they're doing a good thing. And sometimes it's okay for us to let them know, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
Before I got a GoDaddy domain with a professional email address, people sometimes have the wrong idea.
Party Girl 789? I don't know who that is.
I gotta let my ass run.
But GoDaddy changed that. Much better. Let's party! Make your business pop off with a name from the daddy of domains.
Well, so I actually said I don't ever code switch because I feel like I'm the same person around everyone. I have had countless times, like, you talk like a white girl, whatever. But I do feel like if I'm in a car with my black friends, I'll play different music than if I'm in a car with my white friends. And I literally have had a time where my friend like came in the car, she's like, and I literally switched off the rap music and she's like, oh, thank God. And I'm like, oh my God. And that just told me everything I need to know. So yeah, when I'm around certain people, I might be a different type of DJ.
Y'all need to be friends with her.
You guys can relate.
She talking about some things. God, that hoe might try to kill you.
So yeah.
I'm curious about the white performance that you kind of described, right? Does it, so that way that you're describing, I can imagine, I've seen the skits. Do you guys ever feel like there's an opposite performativity of like more of like the liberal white person who's like really nervous and like doesn't really know how to engage it? Like, do you feel that in a, like you got one side which is like the old grandma trying to be like, I'm just hip with the youth and I get you, and you're like, please stop. But on the other side, I feel like I see, like I watch with my family, for example, around my husband. It's like nervous, and I'm like, you guys aren't acting like yourself either. Like, what's going on? Like, no, what's going on here? Do you guys ever notice like the kind of the opposite direction of performativity? And is it otherwise?
I find that with liberal white folk, I find it much more often that there is a performativity. Like my roots are from the South. So even when I've been to the South, I prefer you just call me what you want to call me, and I know who I'm dealing with. Rather than you be in my face and trying to and like you were saying, sometimes you can feel when it's like a genuine effort, but it can also feel like manipulation, and it makes me even more distrusting in that sense. And so I experience more of it from liberal white folk, actually.
What does it look like, if I could ask?
What does that look like?
Yeah, like from the whatever. Like, what are you experiencing?
Yeah. It could be like, girl, you know, yeah, girl, period. You know, all the new terms, what have you. Mind you, I'm like the elder of this group, so like this, you know, I don't even know what the new slang is right now, but. I remember in like way back in high school, and I went to two very different high schools. The first one was like much, as far as like the income range was lower. The second high school I went for my last 2 years was a lot more wealth. And the way that the women at the second high school would interact with me was very different from the first high school. And a lot of times it was just very manipulative, the approach to it. So it's like, how do we get to know this girl? Oh, so girl, you one of those girls bust in, or, whatever the most, or thinking they can say the N-word around me. And I think this is something that happens being, I just found out I was biracial, y'all. That's a whole nother story. So you'll hear me say being a light-skinned Black woman, because I didn't know. I thought my daddy was somebody else.
So in my personal experience, because I went to, especially my middle through high school, because it was the same school, it was grades 6 through 12, there was a pretty big divide at my school. Either you were extremely liberal to the point where, like, we're in uniforms, right? You can wear a skirt or pants. I had people telling me I was upholding the patriarchy because I wanted. The pants were just ugly. Like, that's all it was. I'm in middle school, like, so there was very liberal to that extreme, and then very, very conservative to the other extreme because it was a rich white private school. And so with that, with the performativity from white people, I had a lot of people I would grow up with.
I grew
Instead
up
of just
around
being
white
like, you're a
people
black
and
woman,
black
they go out of their way to be like, you're African American. Like, they were scared to say black, almost like it was a slur. I'm black. Like, you can say that. It's okay. I think that's a good example. Or just people coming up to me and being like, you ready for Juneteenth? What? I don't even have black people asking me that. Like, that's just strange. Or white people trying to be more offended about black topics than I am. So if there's something in the media they feel like I should feel offended about it, how can you word that? I feel like you guys, I can't think of an example.
I feel like when they make non-issues such an issue, it paints black women as being so much more angry than we are. Like, feeding into the
hypersensitivity.
Yeah, it really just feeds into the stereotype when they're like, they make non-issues issues because it paints us in a bad light and we're not even mad. It's something we don't even care about. Thank you. It's really so.
Yeah, I had a coworker, white, and he came to me and she's like, oh my God, my daughter wanted to get braids in her hair and get extensions, like you guys do. I told her, you can't do that. You can't do that. I was like, she can do that if she wants to. I was like, we don't tell people you can't put braids in your hair. You know what
She
I mean?
wanted you to agree so bad.
She wanted me to agree so bad. She wanted to feel like she was doing such a good thing. And I was like, I don't care,
I didn't think much about it. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say being a light-skinned black woman, sometimes, and there's different privilege that goes with that, right? Because you can move through different worlds and they'll forget you black sometimes. And so they'll say things that they wouldn't necessarily say around a darker-skinned black woman. And that itself, like, the question around, how do I feel when people are super, super careful? In some ways, it's like I appreciate the awareness around, like, that you don't want to intentionally harm. At the same time, it ties in a little bit into white fragility, where it's like, if you're not willing to just be honest and ask a question or say what you need to say, because you're more worried about being called a racist rather than actually having repair, then that gets on my nerves.
Hi loves, it's me again, Dr. Michelle Daff. We've really been enjoying producing these meaningful conversations for the Dr. Daff Show. However, they are very costly to produce with our large team, equipment, studio, and cast, and everything that goes on behind the scenes. If you've been enjoying these thought-provoking conversations and want to support what we're building here, I would love for you to check out my fragrance brand, Fine Forever. Fine Forever is more than just a fragrance brand. It is a celebration of faith, purpose, and beauty. We currently have 3 signature scents, each inspired by a unique Bible scripture and has within its own story and meaning. First, we have 2911, inspired by the scripture Jeremiah 29:11. It's a delicate yet vibrant fragrance that combines lush florals with soft, sweet undertones. It is a celebration of gratitude and the blessings that unfold when we walk in faith. Next is Silent Storm, inspired by Psalm 107, 28, and 29. It's a bold, captivating scent that balances strength and serenity. With warm woods and a touch of spice, it's a reminder to find peace and purpose even in life's storms. And lastly, we have mustard seed, inspired by Matthew 17:20. It is a fresh and uplifting fragrance inspired by faith and growth. It opens with a bright citrus and soft florals, symbolizing the beauty of small beginnings and
can't think of one.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys.
Well, because I can't think of one in this moment. And I imagine.
Visit fineforever.com and shop now. Your support means the world to me. And I truly believe that these fragrances worked in my.
I have been in situations where my race worked in my
favor.
Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5.
Oh, I can't think of one.
5.
Well, because I can't think of one in this moment. And I imagine maybe there must be somewhere, you know, where it has worked in my favor to be black, but I just can't think of something in this moment at all.
I feel like applying to college. That was like the one time. Not the one time, but like one or two times, because it's like at my school it was mostly white people, so it was like there's only gonna be like a black girl to get accepted, and I feel like that was me. But yeah.
I feel like sometimes I've benefited from being like half white, and like also to mention like I'm Jewish, so like when I would be around many people, they'd be like, "Oh no, she's a Jew, like she's cool, like let her in, like da 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 da." Like so, I feel like I was accepted more places, and like I had 2 different friend groups, like a lot of Jewish kids and then a lot of black kids, and then like. So I would kind of see like both worlds, but I would also be like shitted on if I like hung out with either or, but then also still accepted into both without a problem. So yeah.
I think probably access to spaces and opportunities that I would have never had otherwise. I think even for things, social media content creator, like in my opinion, I think that a lot of the content that I create, because I do like political stuff, I think about like how different my platform would be, or like how much, you know, maybe followers or whatever I would have if I went white. And I think that that does play, and a lot of it also is like being a female, looking feminine, things like that, where it's like people follow for a specific reason. But I think that, and then I think also like probably education or like job opportunities, where I think people there's like a stereotype that comes along with one being educated, and also the assumption that like whiteness equals wealth. And so you get into like these spaces where they're like, there's kids talking about owning toys that I never owned growing up, and I'm like, why do you assume like in those scenarios that, you know, we had similar backgrounds or something like that, where I'm like, it's very obvious that like you just see another white person and assume like, oh, you grew up rich like me, and it gets you into those types of spaces where like those people have opportunities and other things that like I never saw that growing up, but it's just the assumption made.
I grew up in New York, and like I don't know, it's like everybody's different nationalities, so it's kind of like I like that better, because then it's like more fun. But like one time where I was like, okay, thank God I'm white. I was in a car with my best friend, and he's Latino, and we get pulled over. I'm driving, and the cop tells him to get out of the car, and we're like, what? He's just sitting there, and he's like, you know, like he like interrogating him like he's a drug dealer, and I'm like, oh my God, like, so it's just like so scary. Just I can't. That's the thing. It's like there's so many like scary situations that people can get in just because they like look at you a certain way. I don't know.
I think I've had a similar scenario. I was like 19, and I was with my ex, who was biracial. I think he was Costa Rican, half black, half Costa Rican, or something like that. And we got pulled over, and in my head I'm thinking like, they're literally like, they called for backup, they're treating him like a criminal, and I was just like, we're just like stupid teenagers smoking weed in the back of my car. Like there was nothing crazy going on. And I remember one thing that was distinct was like they took him off to like another area of the parking lot that we were in and start questioning him. And they come to me and I think the male officer asked me like, "That's your boyfriend, right?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I think so." And the question that he asked me after that was everything consensual? And in my head, I'm thinking like, I was like, that I don't feel like is a scenario where that's a question they would have asked if he was white. It's not a scenario where like, and after that, I mean, it was in Florida. Weed was illegal at the time. After we got away, like perfectly fine, like the cop was just like, "Don't do it again." And in my head, I'm thinking the way that this would have gone would have been infinitely different if I wasn't there. And that, I think that was like a moment that just like really clicked for me. I was like, my world is different from his world in that scenario.
I'll just say that my skin tone worked in my favor when I was younger. I distinctly remember all these high school memories. Don't ask me why high school memories are coming up. My mom and I, and my mother is a darker brown skinned Black woman, were at the mall. And we had went to separate stores, and she was like, "Meet me at this store." And so I came from shopping somewhere, and then I went to go meet her. And when I walked in, the woman came up to me right away and greeted me, and the other woman was following my mother around. And so when I went up to my mother and I was like, "Hey," she's like, "Yeah, we're not buying anything in here," and we walked out. And so witnessing her be treated differently than me based on my skin tone, it's just really understanding that there's different layers of privilege. And once again, it's still related to like the deep indoctrination around whiteness in this country,
I feel safe around the police.
One time my wallet was pickpocketed in Spain. My other bank put me on an endless hold.
I'll start by saying that I wasn't always this way. Like when I grew up in a really, like literally in a village. It was called like the village of Lansing, and it's right outside of Chicago, and it's like right on the state line of like Indiana. So imagine I'm just like around a whole bunch of white people. And my mom was like part of the neighborhood watch, like my neighbor was too, and like we would go to like the little, what do you call those? They're like town halls or something, and like the sheriff would be there, he would bring pie, he would be so sweet. And I just remember like, the police were cool. I remember being in 5th grade, the DARE program, the DARE guy was super cool. And then it started to switch, you know what I'm saying? As I got older, I started to see more things that were like, okay, this is different, And maybe it wasn't different, and maybe I just had rose-colored glasses on because I was a child, and police maybe are different with children. But yeah, it just was a flip. But it's funny because around like 2020, I remember I was driving with my sister, and I was driving her car, and her car was like registered in a different state. And I'm just doing the good old LA 80, on the freeway. But I guess the cop was like, "Who is this? Texas knows how to do the LA 80." So they pulled us over, and my sister, she's so unserious, she's super unserious. We just laugh about everything. And so she's like, he better not shoot us, but we'll both be on the news. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna be more famous than George Floyd, all of them, because we gonna act the fool, either one of us. So, we kind of like took it as a joke, but like as the guy's talking to us, he's like, seeing that we are not at all, he's like, "Why are you guys going 80? We're like, "Oh," I'm from here, sir. He was like, "Oh, okay," he was just looking at us crazy. And like, of course we got off and stuff, but like, just the unseriousness that we had, I think it's just because we grew up like friends with the police, you know what I'm saying? But we still had that in the back of our mind, like, oh, we still could get shot though. You know what I mean? So it's kind of scary. And yeah, that's it.
I think this is such an interesting topic because in many ways, like, fish don't know what water feels like. I think they can only really get it when they like see somebody else not experiencing it all the time and go, oh, right? So like I remember TSA, right? I've been pulled over by the cops like not even that many times because I am broke, so there's no world that I'm risking getting a ticket. But TSA, my husband again, biracial, definitely not white passing, but he's light skinned. TSA will just, if we're holding hands, like I remember one time so clearly, an officer pulls him aside and he's my bags. So, because he's a wonderful boy. And I look around and I'm like, where's my husband at? And then I see him and I'm like, oh. And so I like rush over and they're like, oh, is this your husband? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, okay, sir, you can go. And I was like, wait, what just happened? And he was like, yeah, you're my bug spray. Like, you're just my guaranteed bug spray. And so there's very much like this like clarity that goes like, oh, like I'm literally watching somebody treat you completely different. That if I just walk over, like essentially my privilege of being white will like blanket over you, which is like a very like weird, like it's something that you just don't even know how to notice or think about until you witness it. I feel like it's very much like liberal sexism, like the liberal guy who's sexist to women, like really hard to describe and explain to people, but then you see it and you're like, oh yes. And I feel like that's very much this like law enforcement situation where I'm like, yeah, I guess I don't really ever get tickets. I just like weaponize incompetence. And I'm like, sorry, sir, I didn't know anything better. And he's like, oh, little girl. And I'm like, hee. And then I get to go. And I'm like, that's not true. Like my husband's been pulled over like twice and he's gotten a ticket every single time, right? So yeah, it's a very sharp contrast to experience.
I do not feel safe around police at all. Like not even a little bit. Like I don't trust them, black ones, white ones, because I feel like, unfortunately, they have a code together, you know, or whatever. And I know they're not all bad, but I don't know which ones are, so I just don't trust none of them. You know, I grew up in Chicago as a kid too, and like I had the whole dare experience when I was little. And you know, when you're like little, 5, it's like, oh yeah, the cops are cool. And then you grow up, and I moved to Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I didn't see a lot of black people around me. And because it was a more predominantly white city, Kenosha, we got pulled over all the time. Over any chance a police officer got. I feel like when I lived in Kenosha, I got pulled over so many times, and I was dating a guy, well, who I'm married to now, but like anytime I was with him, he got pulled over every single go. You know, if I have a guy in my car, like a young man, because I was a dance teacher, and I had to give some kids a ride home sometimes, but some of them are tall, those, you know, kids, and I just clear in my car, I get pulled over. Who's that in the car? You know, I just feel like I was always getting pulled over by the police for no reason. Not speeding, you know, no expired plates. You know, well, my husband's plates would expire sometimes, but like, but it was always just getting pulled over for no reason, you know. And one time we were on the highway driving back, not even in Kenosha anymore, but on the highway driving back from here back to Kenosha for a funeral. And we're already distraught because we're trying to hurry up and get back for a funeral. We weren't speeding, we were just on our way. And we got pulled over on the freeway. And we're just like, what is going on? We're trying to make it back before my husband's brother was passing away. And we were just trying to get back before we missed him, you know. But this police officer just didn't care, made my husband get out of the car, made him go sit in his car, and we're just in there, me and my kids are sitting here just like praying, like, God, just protect him, because we don't know. We've watched too many people get shot by the police for no reason, just turning a certain way, like, oh, I fear for my life. You know, like, I feel like if you fear for your life by a flint, you shouldn't be a police officer. Go sit down somewhere, go sit at a desk, do something else. I just don't trust them at all. It sucks, but it's true.
I really feel like the scale of racism that the police like portray also depends on the state, and if they're considered like a Republican or Democratic state. And you might not understand what I mean by that, but like I feel like when I've been in Republican states, I feel more unsafe around law enforcement rather than like Los Angeles, California, because they have more leeway. Because nobody's gonna check them. Nobody's gonna tell them they're wrong. And their citizens uphold them and give them leeway to make them think what they're doing is right. Like I went to Houston about 2 years ago. I've never had any encounters with any police bad up until then. Like I was just treated like terribly for no reason. I think it was like a donut shop, you know, like super comedic, like a police officer at a donut shop. So I'm getting my donut and dude says, did I buy all the donuts? And I'm like, yeah, I bought all the donuts. And I thought he was joking. Like, I thought he was like calling me like a fatty. He had like 12 boxes of donuts. And then he asked the lady, did she buy all the donuts? That's when I turned and I was like, well, like, I bought all my donuts. So then I walk out and his partner says the same exact thing. And I'm like, okay, like this is getting weird. But yeah, I just thought it was a really weird experience that he like even asked the clerk, like, does this girl like buy all these donuts? I just thought it was super weird.
Did he think you reached behind the counter and took the donut?
I was like the only like terrible experience I ever had with like a police officer. It was like weird.
I've had good and bad experiences with cops. Like, some of them are really nice and great people, but when I first moved out here, I got a jaywalking ticket. And this cop wanted to arrest me. Thank God I had my dog with me. He's like, we're just gonna take your dog. Because I didn't have my ID on me. I was going to like a Starbucks, and I forget what race he was. I think he was a white guy. And he like was like, so like, you don't have your ID on you. I have to bring you into the station. And I'm like, I have like a dog with me. Like, what am I? It was so scary. Like, it just makes you feel so scared. So I feel like it's also like yes, definitely like cops see race and they just stereotype people. But then sometimes I think that they'll look at women in general. And like, I don't know, a lot of men just don't like women, or they just feel like, they want to, I don't know, like, just for him to like want to bring me in for not,
Was he a motorcycle cop?
He was just walking. I don't know.
It's the worst.
Yeah, he was just walking. I don't know. It's just a crazy experience.
I think, to speak on that too, I think that there's probably a unique situation, obviously, that black men are in, but probably black or biracial women as well. Like, because I was kind of iffy on this one, where I was like, well, there's been instances where I don't ever feel like I've been uniquely treated poorly when receiving a ticket. In fact, I'm pretty confident there's been cases where like I probably should have received a ticket and have gotten away, like you were saying, like, with what should have been a pretty bad ticket. And on the flip side of that, with like policing, it's any time that I've sought out help from a police officer when I was supposed to receive help, and boil that down to probably living in the South too, like for domestic violence or abuse or anything like that, where if I've gone to them, I've said, here, I have evidence of this, I am showing you guys what's happening, and nothing's being done. That is times where I can say, like, yeah, I do have a distrust of the police, because they have an interest in protecting not just white people but also men. Like, they have a vested, well, specifically white men. And so I think in those instances, yes, I felt unsafe, but not unsafe in the way that it seems like you guys are describing, where it's like an active fear for yourself or the people around you. Do you feel like particularly with police, like you guys struggle with like being not just black or biracial, but also like black women or femme presenting people with the police more so?
I think for me, because the times I have gotten pulled over, it's been because like my tags were expired. I'm in college. Like I mentioned, I went to Chapman, which is a very white school. The city of Orange is very white. And so with that, yes, I am half white, but nobody looks at me and is like, that's a white woman. So getting pulled over, I definitely would have anxiety. I see that the cop is white. And in those cases, I've code switched, and I think I've used the fact that I'm a woman, but a light-skinned woman, to my advantage to try and get out of those situations, because I can acknowledge that in the black community there is colorism, and I do benefit to a certain degree from being light-skinned. Because in those situations where I did get pulled over by cops, regardless of race, but in that same general area of Orange County, as soon as I went, oh, hi, officer, da-da-da-da-da. They're like, oh, are you a college student? Oh, yeah, I go to Chapman University. Their tone would switch up so fast because of this association of a school like that. And also my tone. But I would just say I've had bad experiences with cops where it didn't matter that I was light-skinned. I was getting followed around at H&M because they were assuming I was stealing. They had no proof. And the cops are just going based off of what an employee with zero proof is saying. So it really is a hit or miss. You never know, and I think it is probably location-based as well. That makes that experience vary, but...
But do you feel like, for anybody, do you feel like in those scenarios, being a woman in the presence of a police officer helps, or do you feel like it's like worse, or... Because you said you don't even trust like black police officers or any of them. Okay. But it isn't. Okay.
It's the badge. I don't trust the badge.
Yeah. So you're like, as soon as I see the uniform, I know. But do you feel like in those scenarios, like being a woman helped? Like you mentioned, like the voice gets raised, like, oh, I'm just a sweet girl. Like, do you feel like that way?
I think it's a hit or miss, and it depends on the police officer's background. Reason being, so I'm an operations manager at a gym, and I've worked various locations. Anaheim, where it was predominantly Latino. I'm now in an area that's predominantly Asian and white. When I was in Anaheim, I experienced a lot of issues, not just with the male police officers, but also the gym goers. They had that machismo culture going on. So they would talk to me crazy, expecting me to just take it. No, I'm gonna yell back. But that was a cultural thing. That was a Latino machismo background. Same with Italians, they have that machismo culture. Versus, like, let's say it's a different race, white or black cop. Again, it just depends on their background. But if they're more just quote unquote Americanized, if you will, and they don't have that machismo culture, I feel like in that case, I can get away with being the innocent girl who didn't even know happening. But I think with those machismo culture, like, instances I've had, it's a power trip. It's a power trip, and because you are a woman and they are a man, they're gonna talk to you and belittle you. So it really just depends.
I have a question for you. Sorry. I'm sure you've seen bullies in school. Maybe you've been bullied. Did being a girl help you with the bullies, or did being a girl ever deter the bullies from being bullies?
That's actually a good question. I was, at least in middle school and high school, I was bullied by girls. So I don't know if that affects it at all, because for them, they don't care, because that's fair game, that's them, it's their whatever. As far as, like, young boys bullying, I don't know. I think I probably have a unique experience. I grew up in, like, Christian private schools. So, like, those environments, there's a specific bullying that's kind of permissible in a way, but it's like the Christian, like, that type of culture about, like, if you don't fit the Christian norms, like, that bullying is okay. I don't know. That's a great question. I have no idea.
Because to me, like, the type of person that becomes a policeman is a bully. Because think about it, you get the power, you know what I mean, and you get to do everything that you were doing in high school. You get to keep doing it. You know what I mean? You're not stopped.
I just have NWAs. The police coming straight running through my head all the time. I don't know. I don't trust them. And mind you, I've had friends that have been married to police officers, you know, and not saying that every single police officer is a bad person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the system itself is rooted in, I know I'm always like the activist over here talking about the history, but it's true. We gotta know where the roots are. They were slave patrollers. So that's the root of the stuff. And then as far as a woman, no, that man has a gun. He can do whatever he wants to do with me. If we look at statistics around black women or marginalized women, period, and police officers, and how many have disappeared or gotten raped or what have you, I do not trust them at all. And especially, honestly, cops that are men of color. Because I almost feel like sometimes there's, like, more to prove there in some way. So, no. Abolish the police.
Can I say something, sidebar? It's kind of crazy. When you were talking just now, you said, I'm so sorry if this sounds bad, but you said you went to a Christian private school. And as soon as you said that, in my mind, she said she wasn't rich. She said she wasn't wealthy.
We had, like, a special, sorry, this is, like, really off topic. We actually grew up, like, really poor, and for some reason, the school let us, like, go to there for free. I don't know why, or, like, a discounted thing.
Probably a sponsorship program.
It was something like that. Like, we were, like, in a, I would call it underprivileged or whatever you want to call it, program thing that they just let us, like.
Yeah, it just made me think about how easy it is for us to just make an assumption so quick, you know, like, I'm listening to you say, like, oh, you know, all these other white people assume that you must be wealthy like them because you're white like them. But it's, to me, as soon as you said I went to a Christian private school, I'm like, I wish I could have sent my kids to a private school. We can't afford that, but I guess I needed a scholarship because you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was something,
just that easy.
Some type of scholarship or something. I don't know. A lot of the kids that did go were, like, white wealthy kids. I think I grew up in an area where there was also more, like, Hispanic kids and black kids as well in that community. I can't speak for whatever their tuition circumstances were, but in that area there was a lot of also, like, white kids growing up. So I did get I would hear these kids talking about like, oh yeah, I got the newest Nintendo Switch and I got the new Wii for Christmas and all this. And I'm thinking like, we can't even afford to go to this school. Like, I don't know what are we doing here? I'm like, I got like.
So, one story about the police. I was in Louisville, Kentucky. I was on winter break from Duke at the time. My boyfriend lived in Louisville. He was from Cairo. I had studied abroad in Cairo. He came back to stay with his brother. We're waiting for the bus. We're leaving the movie theater, waiting for the bus. Him and I got in an argument. I used to smoke cigarettes at the time. He was pissed I was smoking a cigarette. So it was like a strip mall area, bus stops here. I'm leaning against the wall. He's pointing at me. And of course I'm like cussing him back out, what have you. And he like slammed his hand against the wall. From an angle, it looks like he slammed my face. His friend that was with us runs over, kicks him in the back because it looks like he hit me. The next thing I know, 2 guns drawn to their heads. They're on the ground. I'm like, what the fuck? It's 2 white plainclothes men yelling police. And now these are 2 African men. Let's be clear, right? And this is wintertime. I'm real light, y'all, okay? I'm looking like a white girl. So they're down on the ground. All I see is guns pointing to their head. I'm freaking out and I'm just like, don't shoot him, don't shoot him, don't shoot him, don't shoot him. And they're like, we saw him hit you, da 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 da. And it literally was, I literally thought I was gonna see their heads blow. Long story short, they call for backup, whatever, because they, again, were in plainclothes, throw them into a car, and then they start questioning me. And they're like, we saw him hit you, man. We're taking him in for domestic violence. I was like, he did not hit me. And of course, as you guys can tell, I was like, he didn't hit me, da 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 da. And they were like, book her too. Book her too, disorderly conduct. So they put us in a paddy wagon. Yeah, it wasn't cars there yet. Put us in a paddy wagon, put me in a car to take us to a paddy wagon. And in the car, he's reporting in, yes, I have a white female. And I was like, I'm black. White female. I said, sir, I'm black. I was like, oh, that's the only reason why you came out of your cars with your guns drawn, because you thought it was 2 black men beating up a white girl, huh? And of course, they didn't like that. But I'm just saying that, again, when it comes to the lines that get blurred based on skin tone, and I wonder if they would have done shit in off duty, you know, if it was a darker skinned black woman getting in an argument with a brother. That's all. I thought it was an entertaining story.
I would date someone from the other groups.
Okay. Why don't we start with you, since you're the only one who has disagreements.
Oh, me? I'm the only one who said disagree? Well.
What you gonna say?
Well, for one, I'm married. But even before I was married, I just was never interested. I wasn't attracted to anybody outside my race. But I got married when I was 20. So, but even in my day now, not that I can look at a white man, Asian man, or whatever and say, oh, he's handsome. Yeah, he's handsome. But they don't make my kettle boil, you know, like a black man does. So it's not that I don't have anything against anybody else. Like, yeah, he handsome, he got muscles, he hot, whatever. But he ain't finna boil my kettle like, to me, what a chocolate man does for me, you know what I mean? And then maybe it just comes back to, like, seeing my father, you know, tall, black, handsome man. Maybe I just wanted something that reflected what I saw of the greatness of my father. I'm not sure if that's all it is or if it's something more or not. But I just never have been attracted to anybody outside my race. Even when I was a little kid, you play spin the bottle, I'm hoping to kiss the black guy over there, not the white ones over there, you know? And I don't know, it could be the way I was raised, grew up around all black people. Maybe it seems scary to me in a way, I'll be honest. There were moments where I thought like, oh gosh, if I have to kiss the white boy over there, I think it seemed scary to me, even though that was my friend. I love this dude, he's my homie, but the idea of kissing him, for some reason, felt strange. So I really don't know, but they definitely have never boiled my kettle.
Boiled my kettle, and ain't nothing like chocolate though, I must say. For me, it's with the question being that, it's like, I don't know if I'm open to it like I used to be. I have been in 2 different relationships, one with a Jewish man, one with a white and Italian man. And interracial relationships bring their own set of challenges. And both of them, the reasons why things ended were around them not doing their own work or really being able to get to a place, because they don't live it, right? of being able to understand the complexities of what it is to be a person of color in this particular country, especially. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again. It's a lot.
No, but it's same, basically. So in my experience, my first boyfriend was Korean, and I think with that, yes, I grew up with both my mother and my father, but I did more so grow up on the white side of my family, and it wasn't until I had my first boyfriend I realized culturally how I was raised. With my mom and my dad, black or white, we talk back to each other. We talk shit at each other. I did not know until my first boyfriend, culturally, that is not the case for someone who's Asian. Culturally, that's not the case for someone who's Latino or Persian. Been there, done that. And I learned that very quickly. So I would say I'm so open to interracial dating. However, the family dynamic comes into play, and I can't be with a man again who in a situation knows his family's 100% in the wrong and disrespectful, and he won't stand up to them because in his culture, elders are always right. So it really depends on the family dynamic. I think I'd rather be with someone who's biracial like me because they would have had that mixed experience of not feeling like just one race or the other or being raised one way or another. They have that mixed experience. And then also, I'm 25, I'm about to be 26. Black men were not interested in me until this year. Black men always told me I was too whitewashed. So it's not that I wasn't interested. In my experience, dating black is where I was judged the most.
I have a question for you. Which one of your parents is African American?
My dad.
Okay, I can kind of tell by the way.
Like, who are you talking about to?
I feel like your ideology could really only come like in the way it came if you have like, you know, like a mother that's not of color, because like in all aspects of like being of color, you don't talk back to
That's what I was saying. But that's why I also think my experience is interesting because my dad is full black, and that's how we to this day talk to each other. We do it with respect, but I am going to argue.
Right, but I'm saying for mothers, a black mother is not going to let you disrespect her. Period.
It really differentiates if you're like born from the womb of like a woman of color or not. Like it really sets your aspect of like who you are and like how you're treated and like the upbringings, because like you can tell when somebody's upbrought by a black woman.
But that's also why I said in my experience, that's why I've had a discrepancy because of how I was raised. I feel like I don't like the comment, I'm gonna be so honest. You were like, oh, I can tell that your mom's white. But it's a little rude. We're both biracial because you said it with the intent of like, you said it in a negative way. I do think that came from a place of negativity.
It wasn't negativity, it's more so like, why would you want to disrespect your elders?
I didn't say disrespect necessarily, but I said talk back at each other.
Right, but talk back.
Right.
And I can see how that could seem offensive. Like, and we were actually talking about this out there. I think I asked you, or no, you asked me, and then we said, you know, there is that debate around biracial, and if the mother is white, it's different than if the mother is black, as far as how the child or how the person values different things.
But I will say this is a perfect example of how I just said it's always the black community that judges me the most, and you guys
but
both
you're taking it as judgment. We're saying
that is how it felt. I don't think
I can't tell you how to feel. I'm just saying that
who's saying
I will
that?
say this is a perfect example of how I just said it's always the black community that judges me the most, and you guys
but
both
you're
just
taking
did
it
that.
as judgment.
Yeah, because
We're
she's from the
that is how it
brown.
felt. I don't think.
I can't tell you. I'm just saying that
She finna start crying on that.
From my experience, and also having girlfriends that are biracial, that have mothers that are white and fathers that are black, or mothers that are white and fathers that are African, right? There's different experiences. But I will say most of the time what I do see is a very different approach when it comes to core values, family dynamics, and especially when it comes to respect of elders. That's all. I'm not saying it's better or worse.
Were they racist to you, his
different.
family? Yes, because I was not the race that they were. I wasn't Korean, and then I wasn't Persian, so it was a problem.
Do you notice a difference with, I don't know if you've dated white men or women or anything like that, but do you notice a difference, any of you who have dated like people who are white or other races or ethnicities, where like the family structure, like going to dinners with parents or meeting parents or anything like that, where it's worse off if you're dating a white person and their family, depending on where they are? I'm sure the South is completely different than other regions, but do you notice, like, you mentioned like the Korean family or the Persian family was like very racist to you because you're not Persian or Korean and you're, you know, a black woman. Do you notice that's different for like white families dating or like Persian families, Korean families? Like,
I haven't had a white boyfriend. I have dated white men before though, and in my experience, if anything, they might make a comment on like the whole, oh, you're so articulate, but I'm used to that one, if I'm being honest. I am articulate, like I was a communications major. However, like I've said, when I've dated black, I'm judged more, just like kind of how I feel right now, honestly, like I'm a little frustrated. Whereas white people have always been very accepting of me. And my white family has always been very accepting of me. So, and never made, yeah.
Do you guys feel the same?
Comments. But again, I know everyone's different.
I've dated white. When I dated like an American white boy, it was a little odd because the parents were nice. The mom was nice, but the dad, he was just odd, you know, and would say weird things, and he said the N-word, hard R, and while with me in the room, and I was like, okay, this strike one, get out of here. Yeah, and it's just, the dynamics with them were weird. Like the boy, he was really like close with the parents, and like he was a child with them, and like, oh, I need this, and they would be like, sure, you know what I mean? Like if I did that with my mama, you know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't gonna happen. She would be like, figure it out. It might be like, figure it out, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a different dynamic. But then I was like, let me try like, you know, like a sub-white, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a European, you know, something. So I tried like a Russian Armenian. And I thought that was gonna be something different, you know. And that was kind of the same. It was more of like a, you know, they had like this type of fetish, you know, for black women, and but this guy, his parents didn't want him to be with a black person, so he had a child with a black Latina before, and I think when he had the child, the mom said, well, what if she looks like the mom? And he was like, what do you mean? What if she looks like the mom? And she's like, well, is he going to be dark like the mom? And so I was like, wait a second. I was like, now you're telling me that? I don't want to even be with you because that girl is lighter than me. You're going to have a real black child if you have one with me. That mama really ain't going to like that because I feel like my genes are strong. My baby going to be black, black, black. So, because, you know, his daughter, you can't even tell that his daughter is black at all. You know what I'm saying? They kind of look like you. You know what I'm saying? Just dark hair, light, you know, skin. You can't even tell, you know? So, but I feel like if he had a child with me, you would definitely tell. So, I don't know. It's just really odd. You know what I mean? Because some parents, they don't want no dark nothing, and they say you got to keep it light and bright. You know what I mean?
I'm curious, because how do those conversations go? Like, is it like you pull your partner aside and be like, this shit has to stop or I'm gone? Or is it like an ex who was the half Costa Rican, half black guy, where his mom really hated me. I could not tell you why. I really could not tell you why. But I remember some choice comments about, you know, like hearing conversations between her and her son, where I'm standing in the room, by the way, very similar scenario. Oh, I wish I'd find you a nice black girl. And like in front of me, where I had always been respectful, like I had always, you know, brought her cookies, brought her stuff, you know, tried to have like a good relationship there. But it eventually, I think, we had to have a conversation where I was like, look, I respect your mom, I respect the relationship, I get where she's coming from, but this is not, like, you're my partner first, in a sense. Like, how did that go? Like, having that did you have that conversation, or was it like?
No, it was just more like, you know, with me, I like to just subtly get out. But I mean, I did have that talk. Like once he said that, I was like, so you can't have no kid with me. You know what I mean? Like I immediately was like, well, this isn't gonna work. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one to beat around the bush and be like, oh, well, maybe she'll change. Like no. Like once I hear that, I'm like, I ain't got time to be dealing with none of that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna have somebody hating on my baby and putting hate spirits on my baby and my pregnancy. Like, nah, I don't believe in none of that. So, you know, with me, I just kind of like will nip it in the bud. I won't really, you know.
White people also experience racism.
Cool. Yeah, and I think like racial discrimination can happen to anybody. I think the problem is that usually when white people talk about experiencing racism, it's like a whataboutism when people are talking about racism towards any other group of people. And so like obviously a white person can experience prejudice. The issue is like I'm going to experience probably some direct stuff, which I have from like my husband's family to some extent, being white and whatnot, but I'm not going to experience any of this like systemic stuff. Like I said, like I can literally just go like ooh to a cop, even in America, like where your guys' cops are crazy here. I'm Canadian. And so it's like, yes, it's just when we're functionally talking about the problem of racism, we all know what we're talking about here, right? If we want to triage these things, any negative comment towards white people is like pretty low on the tier list of societal changes that we need to impart. I think that there's a lot more like systemic issues. So I'd answer like yes, but if you ask me, is it the most important thing in racism that we need to tackle? I would say definitely not.
I grew up going to school and I was one of the only white people in school. So in that case, it was like, and it was a lot of Spanish speaking and I didn't speak Spanish. So, and I learned to speak Spanish and then I realized that I was like, oh, these people don't like me because I don't speak their language. So in situations like that, I feel like there can be racism, like reverse racism, because of that it's just like you don't fit in. It doesn't make anything wrong. It's just like, you know, you're different than everybody else.
I think there is a distinct difference between racism and prejudice. And so for me, I don't believe that white people really experience racism, but I think they may experience some prejudice. Because racism is based around systems. Systems put in place, by people of power in order to oppress a sect of people. I don't think there's really any systems put in place by government or anything like that, or people of power to suppress like white people. However, I feel like white people in a space of like where there's around black people,
go for the True album.
They may experience some prejudice, like that white girl, get her out of here, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like that's really whack and that's prejudice. But racism,
I started the live
I don't think it's the same.
I'm having a serious issue with that languaging. Reverse racism. I'm like, first of all, look up what the fuck racism is. Oh, I can't cuss on here, sorry.
No one's going into the Abbey and burning it just because some white people are in there. You know what I'm saying? But they'll go into a place where,
because racism is directly related to power. That prejudice, yes.
I'm going for the
absolutely. Discrimination, yes. Racism, no.
I don't think we disagree on like the facts of the matter. Like I agree, white people, especially in America, don't experience like systemic racism. I think it's just a disagreement on terms, like you said. Like
because we can't. I can't with that because disagreement on terms for my family, my people, and those that I love could be life or death. Like we can't intellectualize racism. There's literal life on the line when it comes to racism.
You mean calling like an instance of prejudice racism puts somebody's life on the line? Can you expand on that?
Can I expand on that? Saying right now with what is happening in this country, because a lot of white people, from what I've been told, what I see, what I read, other friends, people that aren't friends, that I speak to about this with this whole reverse racism thing. We look at what's going on systematically with affirmative action, all the things. When it comes to silencing ancestors' voices, our history, all of it. That's what's on the line. It literally is around with that they're being racist, so we need to cut out all these books.
Right.
They're being racist. So we need to do that. It's still
no one's
rooted
telling
in the
y'all
system.
can't drink out of a water fountain because y'all smell like wet dog. No offense, but that's y'all's little prejudice that they say about y'all. But no one's telling you, oh, they can't, do this. Oh, we're gonna go burn up their partying place just because they're white. Like, no one's doing that to y'all. No one has ever done that to y'all. No one has ever said we're gonna go and tear up their whole town because, oh, these white people have a town and they got banks and they're making money. We're gonna go burn that. Like, no one's done that to y'all. Y'all still got banks and stuff.
Language is powerful.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Language is very, very powerful. And when we start to put racism in the same terminology as discrimination, and we group it all together, it really gets dangerous.
We don't want to dilute the meaning of racism. Do you know what I mean? Like, we want to group those three words together, prejudice and discrimination and racism. Like, to try to group those words together to mean the same thing dilutes the racism that Black people have experienced for so many years. And that's definitely what we don't want, because when you look at how Black people experience racism for so long, that meant life. That meant life. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. But like, what a lot of white people are claiming as racism, their life isn't really on the line. It's hurt feelings. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, they're writing books about how white people did this, and that's just hurt feelings. Nobody's life is on the line.
Based on what I said initially, do you think I disagree with you guys on anything?
I don't remember what you said initially.
Okay.
I remember what you said. I do think that I don't disagree with what you said with respect to these two things being different, but what you said originally kind of made it sound like you were putting them in the same box.
Right. The way you answered the question, right, was, are you cool? I'm just tapping on, okay, because you don't seem cool. The question was, and you agreed with it, that people can be racist towards white people. And then you answered by saying about
why she do her like
I talked about direct versus like systemic and systematic racism.
She also noted at the end, I don't know if you guys remember this, she said on basically the totem pole of what's like issues we need to focus on, racism towards white people is at the very bottom. And she also, I feel like you made it clear when you were saying it's more so little snide comments. Like, it's things my mom experienced, snowflake, from the Black side of my family, things like that, versus like what you're describing as systemic.
To me, what you described was prejudice. I just was like, oh, she just don't know that she's talking about prejudice.
That's totally fine. Yeah. That's totally fine. I just want to be clear. Ideologically, I'm with you. Like, when it comes to systematic and systemic racism, obviously white people are not experiencing this the way that Black people are, or the way that any person of color. Right? When I said racism, I mostly meant it in like, I guess like the old Oxford, which is just like discriminating to somebody in any way based on like their race, which could include snide comments. But yeah, I agree. It's not even close to in the scale. That's why I said on a rank of things that matter here, white racism doesn't matter.
What I'm saying is there's no such thing as white racism.
I feel like there is such thing as racism towards white people, and I'm just gonna use like an example, as in like if somebody passes away who is white, I can see like I've had colleagues around me like, oh, it doesn't matter, he was white, he was piece of da da da, like it doesn't matter because like the things say about Black people. So even though he was a racist individual, do I think that it's okay that he died because he was racist? No, now you're just being racist. So two wrongs don't make it right.
Yeah, I guess we get to just agree to disagree on the term of what racism really is.
I'm just happy to use like whatever language. That's when I say racism, that's just all I meant. But if you want to call it prejudice, that's fine. Then I'd say like, yeah, white people experience prejudice, but according to how you're defining racism, white people don't experience that. Yeah.
I just do have to add though, because you started making a good point I wanted to say, but I wasn't trying to get everyone pissed off. I love history. Historically, not now, I'm not saying in this day and age, but historically, different groups of white people were discriminated against. When the Italians started coming over, they were called slurs. When the Irish came over, they were called slurs.
They weren't white then.
Way back, and that's what I'm saying. The definition of white was different, but they were white.
Do you know why the definition of white was constructed?
Go ahead and tell me.
No, I want you to tell me.
No, because you're okay. First of all, I feel like you can be a little nicer because you're kind of coming at everyone.
I'm being direct, honey.
You're just, but your energy is just a little bit rude when we're coming in here to have a discussion.
I'm being direct.
You tell me why. I don't know why the definition of whiteness was changed, and you're being condescending.
Honey.
So go ahead and tell me. Tell me.
So when you're talking about Italians, other people that are considered white now being discriminated.
No,
she's not. She's not.
I know she's not.
I don't like
That's because I could tell even with the first comment before how your voice was already starting to get shaky. I know that you're already triggered. I feel great about everything in this conversation, but I don't want you to feel attacked.
I don't feel supported by these two ladies. You guys have been nothing but great. Genuinely.
You don't feel supported by us because of what we said about the difference between having a white mother and a black mother?
I think you guys were differentiating yourselves from me being biracial.
And it's crazy because the two that's arguing on the same, so they both biracial. These two biracial, so it's 3 white girls sitting right here to the left. It's 3 biracial in the middle. They black and white or Jewish and black or whatever the fuck. And then it's 3 black girls to the right. Out of the 3 that's in the middle, 2 of them that's arguing the biracial. That shit funny.
Have black mothers, and I do not. And you were making negative comments about the fact that my mom was white. Oh, I can tell. That has an underlying connotation from it.
We were saying based on what you shared about how you spoke to your family.
And based on how you shared that, you thought it was weird that your boyfriends of a different ethnicity's parents demanded respect. Which
No, you misunderstood what I said. You did misunderstand what I said because what
then why don't you reiterate yourself?
You're interrupting me. I'm trying to, and you're interrupting me.
No, you tried to 3 times. You said the same thing over again.
So, when I brought up the issue with my friend being Korean and the culture of respecting your elders, what I brought up was, yes, I came from a culture of where my family and I could have dialogue back and forth, and I didn't realize that was different until I dated someone from a different race. However, in that specific context, it was to the point where his family was disrespecting me because I was black. But because his culture tells you to respect your elders, he let his family walk all over me and be racist and be disrespectful. That's what I was talking about. I never said I disrespected them.
His family did people. What I'm saying is that it's very much the same in black communities, and it's unfair to black communities too. And I know many people who get walked all over from their black parents because they can't do anything. They get hit, they get beat. It's normalized.
I sometimes wish I was a different race.
Yeah, she tripping on that one.
I think it would just be easier to...
I knew it. This bitch look like she finna cry. She done. She said she wish she was a different race. Everybody else said no.
Black or be full white. Because
she started crying. I told y'all she was gonna start crying. Boy, this shit funny. Oh, man.
As I just mentioned, it is hard being biracial because I just don't feel like I fit in with one or
so
the
y'all
other.
can see it.
Because I think it would just be easier to just be black or be full white. Because genuinely, as I just mentioned, it is hard being biracial because I just don't feel like I fit one or the other group.
I told y'all she was gonna start crying.
Specifically,
I heard it in her voice.
This is not the first big video I've been on where I've talked about this. It's always the black community that is more judgmental towards me. And so that's why it's just if I could just be the other, I wouldn't have to keep having a weird mixed experience where one group doesn't accept me and the other one doesn't either. So honestly, I love who I am.
It's 9 women up here. Ain't no other woman, and women are emotional creatures. Ain't no other woman crying but this one. Out of all 9 of them, it's just one. It's something wrong with her. She need therapy. She's using this podcast as therapy. She shouldn't do that. She needs to go find a therapist, then come on a goddamn show and sit down and, you know what I'm saying, dialect, you know what I'm saying, have a dialect with other people type shit. That's crazy.
I hate how I'm treated by others because of my race, truly. And I hate the snide comments based on oh, your mom's white, can tell. It just really
Why
sucks,
she
'cause
bring
I am
it
who
up?
I am.
That's
I'm a
her
mix of
4th,
both.
5th time
I'm not
bringing
gonna
shit
do
up.
other. But that
She
makes it
done brought
hard
this
because
shit
I
up
think
about
in
5 times.
this day and age, people want you, it's black or white. That people want you to just be in one box.
This is wild.
So.
I don't believe that I'm all black. I mean, as a black American, I'm mixed up anyway. So I feel bad that people judge you. I'm really sorry about that. Because, yeah, black people can be judgmental sometimes. You know what I mean? But you kind of have to realize that, the black people that are judging you ain't all black either. So you can kind of push it on them and be like, hey, you biracial too, because Thomas Jefferson is your great granddaddy. So, you know, sometimes you got to just push it back and flip it back on them. And I don't know, I was just trying to make you laugh. Sorry.
And I think with age, right, I'm like twice your age. And I remember feeling that, not the same way, but definitely, you know, getting bullied by black girls at school, getting fetishized by white boys at school, all the different things. And it is painful. And I think the sense of belonging is what can feel really painful. Not feeling like you're accepted in either side. But I think with age, you just start to not really give any fucks. And you start to really come into your own about what you believe about yourself, when you start to deconstruct ways that were conditioned to you to see yourself or how others see you, and it does get better.
Hey, I need to launch a campaign in 2 weeks. Let's see. Okay, Elena, we need a great brief. Product, insight, market, leave nothing out. Add it in. Looks good. Let's get it to our CMO and agents, Nathan and Nina. Nice work. Hey, where have you been all my life?
I had to wash my ass, had to get my money, y'all.
Would you guys like to know how much revenue a gas station can generate? It'll surprise and shock you, so stick around and find out.
So today we'll tell you how we turned a $1 million investment into a $37 million yearly revenue.
That's huge, so stick around to find out about that and a lot more. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story, your family business. Tell us a little bit about your background and when you first bought your gas station.
So first gas station we bought, it was 2019. It's been 3 years. Now we have a total of 8. I did start in the retail about 15 years ago. That actually brought me into owning a gas station again.
When you first bought your gas station, how much was it and how did you structure the deal?
So the first gas station we bought was the Arco gas station. So it was $3.5 million gas station. We had to put down $1 million as a down payment. Down payment came in all from saving.
Wow.
Working hard for the last 15 years, myself and my husband Paul, owning a couple of trucks in the trucking industry, and Jesse, our business partner, also working full-time, managing a couple of the gas stations. So pretty much $1 million from saving puts that into buying a $3.5 million gas station.
Let's talk about marketing. I've always wondered and never knew, do gas stations market? If so, maybe differently, what are you guys doing to just keep your name out there?
Being a gas station owner, you don't get a lot of time to go out there to market anything for advertising or any social media.
Okay.
But
He
we do
ain't
go
got
out
to get
there
no
a lot. Hand
live.
out coffee
Where
cards.
that money at?
I'd also like to publicly apologize for my comment, making you feel some sort of way, because that was not how it was supposed to come off. My best friend's mom is white, and we joke about it all the time, how there's a really big difference. I didn't mean for that. I just meant for as in black moms are super sometimes stereotypical, when it comes to raising their kids, and it wasn't as in you're less than because your mom's white. I would never say that to anybody, and I'd never want to make anybody feel like that.
Grown women. She should have stayed her ass at home
wanted
with
to be
this shit.
anything other than a black woman. I mean, sometimes I want your privilege, but I like all the genetics that are inside of me. I like my skin tone. My hair is under this wig, but I don't wear wigs because I don't like my hair. I wear it for convenience, because sometimes I have to do my hair every day, and if I'm working certain jobs, my hair has to look the same for this many days or whatever. So I'm always changing my hair, but I love all the things about what God made me. I don't feel like God makes mistakes when he creates us. You know what I mean? I feel like
man, y'all hit that like button and share
very, very
button.
different genetics. Even
That's
all
what
three
I was
white girls, y'all look
supposed to say.
completely different. All three mixed
Hit
girls,
that like
we
and that
all
share
look, you know what I
button
mean, different. And I don't think there's a point in wishing I had the good hair or straight hair, you know what I mean, or a lighter skin or darker skin. But in reality, unfortunately, we're given this idea of what is better, prettier, or whatever. But I just love that as we get older, we start, because when I was younger, I don't know No, I always like me, but like, no, I always like me, but like, but definitely as I get older, I appreciate who I am more and more and more, and I'm like, man, like, I'm so grateful that I have this skin. I'm grateful that this booty is a little bit juicy. I ain't got the booty my mama had, but I got some. You know what I mean? Like, I'm grateful for that because there are people out here paying big money for a booty. They're paying big money for lips. You know what I mean? People with straight hair are also like putting in a, what do you call it? Y'all call it a perm too. Y'all putting in a perm so you can have curly hair while white folks putting in a perm to straighten. You know, it's just like, I feel like everybody's trying to be what somebody else is. And it's like, but we're also gorgeous in our own way, you know? Like, I don't know. Nah, I like me.
I'm very appreciative of who I am, but growing up, I was a dancer, so I danced at Alvin Ailey. Everyone was black. And I really was so jealous of all those girls because I was just, you know, kind of like the maybe the one white girl in the class. So when I was in high school, I did wish that I was black because I was like, well, if I ever want to get into their company, it's going to be really hard, you know? So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm me. I think regretting like what I'm born into feels like a way of like self-denying. Of like looking at my.
On the YouTube, no, subscribe. The best of the best mind. The best of the best mind. Yeah, no, something wrong. Got my badge up. I went to some more shit. We can't even hear what they talking about though. Alright. Adam been live for 2 hours. I finally fucking did it, man. I finally fucking did it. Oh, I like this plastic surgery versus natural beauty. Let's watch it.
I know a girl who got a chin implant, changed her whole face like crazy. And no matter how much cosmetic surgery you receive, you're thinking of little things you can change about your body constantly. Why does somebody else changing their face bother somebody who's happy with themselves?
I'm Ka Takahashi, and I'll be moderating this episode of Cosmetic Surgery versus Natural Beauty. The first prompt is, cosmetic surgeries should be as normalized as makeup. Can the agreeers step forward?
I kind of see a lot of cosmetic surgery as kind of like high maintenance to be low maintenance type of thing. So girls who are overlining their lips every day, like just get some lip filler, like get the, you know, the Botox or anything. I mean, it kind of starts with makeup, like the girls who are putting on the makeup every day before school when they get a little more money in their pockets and they get a little older and they get a little freedom. Yeah, those are probably the girls that are a little more inclined to want to get, you know, stuff done. It's a little more severe to go under the knife than to wear makeup, but I mean, it's something that happens every day. You know, it's LA, and I just don't think people talk about it because it's so taboo.
Originally, the prompt said surgery, and I don't think surgery should be normalized, but then you started talking about like
Botox,
lasers, skincare products, friends and acquaintances that I know who also are aging gracefully. Somebody gave them the secret when they were in their 20s. Our collagen starts going to shit at 25. So if you're not doing things that boost the collagen in your skin at the age of 25, you're going to be playing catch up at some point. If there's something that you could have done, like regular exercise or stretching every day to help you age better, why not do that for your appearance if it's simple, safe, and you're doing it with a trusted physician?
But surgeries, you would say, that should not be normalized.
I don't think it should be normalized, but I'll give you an example. This is gonna sound crazy, but go with me. So I had a girl brought in by her mom for a labiaplasty. And I was ready to walk in the room and be like, are you freaking crazy? What are you thinking bringing in your daughter for a labiaplasty? And I walked in and this girl had a normal labia on one side. And on the other side, she had a labia as long as my finger hanging out. When she was at the YMCA, it would fall out of her bathing suit. She was getting teased by her friends. And she said, Mom, I do not want to go into high school with this thing hanging out of my vagina. I did it awake. Took me 15 minutes to give her a normal anatomic labia that matched her other side. So should we normalize access to feel your best? Absolutely.
Bring the disagreeers in.
I think plastic surgery shouldn't be demonized, but it also shouldn't be normalized totally, completely either. In that way, stealth can also be quite dangerous for people because people are dishonest about the work they get done. And they give this unrealistic beauty standard. I didn't know a lot of girls had BBLs when they were selling workout plans.
Totally.
BBLs?
Yeah, Brazilian butt lift, which is what I have two of.
Okay.
I don't think plastic surgery is wrong. The little girl you're talking about, like, we can all imagine what that would be like, having some kind of abnormality in your body, or if you have a cleft lip, or something that makes you feel so othered. I can understand that. My issue with the idea of normalizing surgery, you have young girls. When you're 18, you get to decide if you're willing to take on the risk. 18-year-olds don't really know anything. I don't want a society that tells young women especially, you need to change these things about yourself surgically.
So I think it's very important that we make a
distinction?
Yes, there we go, we got it, it was there. Between makeup and surgery, because that was a prompt, right? I even faced troubles when I was doing certain surgeries, right? And I had to redo things. And I think once you go down that slow and that route, it goes into like another like a tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Makeup, it's something that's so easy to, we can take it off, we can put it on. So that's the only reason why I disagreed. I don't think it should be as normalized as makeup because it's just two totally different ball games.
I completely agree with you, and to a certain extent, I would say, looking at like the makeup industry, makeup in a lot of ways is a little bit too normalized. So I don't think I would want to take that a step further. And if we're normalizing makeup, which in a lot of ways there are women and men who can throw on makeup and it changes the entire shape of their face and take it off and it's a completely different person underneath. Surgery does that in a more permanent, invasive way. The goal is to move away from alteration of the self, of the person, and move towards, acceptance.
So alteration of self and permanency are two things that you brought up. Would you apply the same to tattoos and piercings?
Yes, and I say that as a person who has tattoos, and in a lot of ways I look down and I think about myself and I go, why did I feel the need to change this, person that I was?
Self-expression, though, what you wanted to visualize.
Yeah, I think it was a convinced self-expression, and we talk about aging, and the phrase "age gracefully" was used. When I think about aging gracefully, I think about somebody who is looking at the wrinkles on their face and going, oh, that was a laugh that I had back when I was, 23. This mark that I have on my stomach is from my child who's now in his 30s. Why don't we view that as aging gracefully? Why is there no grace in accepting the wrinkles?
One wrinkle or seeing a little mark on your belly is not what these women are coming in for. I've had patients who are so blown out in their abdomen that you can see their intestines moving under their skin after they've had 4 children. Sure. So is that okay now? Or maybe there's like this one definitive spot where like this is okay, but this is not, in the non-plastic surgery. Who determines that? Yeah. You don't want to demonize the plastic surgeon. You don't want to demonize the plastic surgery. You don't want to set arbitrary posts for when it's okay and when it's not okay, or how bad it is before you do it, or how bad it's impossible.
Hey, you watching? Yeah, you. We know you so badly want to put your 2 cents in during these conversations. And yes, we see your angst, passion, in the comment section. Well, now's your chance. Check out @Jubilee Media on Instagram to see how you can have your very own prompt featured in an upcoming Middle Ground episode. Go crazy, have fun.
What you want to do is save hundreds when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
That's great, but can you ask your friend to stop digging into the green?
I can ask, but he's not going to. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
GoDaddy is the daddy of domains. GoDaddy is the daddy of domains. The daddy of domains.
GoDaddy is the daddy of domains. Get everything to grow your business, only from the daddy of domains.
The cosmetic surgery industry exploits people's insecurities. Wow, we all agree. Okay.
When you have trends where all of these women are getting the exact same boob job, the exact same lips, or the exact same nose, it's almost impossible to deny.
Man, what y'all think? Y'all like plastic surgery or natural beauty?
Imagine that the plastic surgery / cosmetic surgery realm would naturally not exist if it weren't for insecurity, and if we could somehow alleviate that pressure that women in particular feel quite often, then it would be an industry that would be going out of business.
I disagree with that. I mean, I'm a plastic surgeon, and I think that the answer is yes and no. Similarly to maybe fashion. Also, is that also, push-up bras? Is that also a terrible thing? The analogy that I always give is if you're gonna go buy a couch, you can go buy a paisley couch. You can do that. That might be the trend. Or you can buy a neutral couch and change your pillows. So I'm the type of plastic surgeon that always promotes a neutral couch, and you can change your clothes. Trends come and go.
Surgeon, so she gonna say that she trying to get some new clients like a bit. Y'all trying to get some new clients. Check myself. Y'all don't see no car behind me. You look like you late for your own party, ain't you? For sure. I gotta get my wardrobe up anyway. As soon as I seen you say some all black, I'm like, yeah, I need to go shopping. I need to get my wardrobe up, start looking more presentable, just being a bullshit cameraman throwing anything down, goddamn. What are y'all doing after you go to after eating shit? Let's say what are y'all doing after you go eating shit? More than like, I still remember the time. What it said, 8:45 or something on that, huh? I was trying to see what time it said 8:45 on there. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it before 8, or either be on time or either might be 15 minutes late. I'm gonna try to be there. I'm gonna try to pull up. I'm gonna at least try to find something. I know I ain't got no black grown and sexy look type shit. Grown and classy. I mean, what you say, grown and classy? Yeah, what's wins? Why is that? You got the WEND? I'm like, nigga, it's Wednesday. You throwing me off. Hell nah, I thought that was like the name of a place or some shit. I'm like, I know he trying to say Wednesday. Man, yeah, I'm over here streaming on live. I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I done started getting this YouTube, man. Man, my phone gonna piss me off. This hoe keep just cutting off on me. Fuck that phone. That's why I got this phone. Back up. I need to go buy a new iPhone. ASAP. That hoe gonna come right back on, and he gonna call back more than likely. But yeah, man, I'm really finna get up out this hoe. Let them be live 2 hours. I finally booted it out, man. 2 hour stream, bang.